Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Frida. I'm Nini's sister. She's been after me about making this homemade lemon meringue pie. I'm using my mom's recipe. It's been a winner for years. I've even sold quite a few. What we're going to do is I've washed my lemons already, and I always just roll them to make sure I get all the juice out of them. My husband bought me this juicer several years ago, and it has worked perfectly every time because I tore my hands up making 20 lemon meringue pies one Christmas. So we're going to roll all of these lemons to get all the juice. The quantity is going to be 12 ounces based on the number of cans of condensed milk that I'm using, and we'll get to that later on once I'm mixing the juice. And as you can see, my juicer does all the work. You see the fluid coming out. One thing I like about this, it catches all the seeds and it gives me the ability to take some of the pulp out as well. It makes the pie so lemony. Okay, now what's about to happen is I'm about to separate 9 eggs, egg yolk in one pan, egg whites in the other, because for every can of Eagle brand condensed milk, you'll need 3 egg yolks, 4 ounces of lemon juice, and here I've already squeezed 12 ounces. I work miracles. And I'm going to, I always have a little padding, just some folded paper towels when I crack my eggs to make sure I get an even break. Because when you separating these, most of you that you cook with meringue, you know you can't get any yolk in that meringue or it won't stiffen up for you. So I'm going to go ahead and crack my eggs, do the separating, and we'll be back in a few. Okay, we've separated our eggs. We're gonna whip up the egg yolks a little bit so they're just mixed prior to putting in the condensed milk. Egg whites are sitting up top just waiting. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take a spatula to make sure we get all of the condensed milk out, and we just add 1 can at a time. You don't have to stir it up as you do it. You just go ahead and just whip it once you get it all in there. And I just take my spoon, my spatula, and go back and forth, making sure I get every bit off the edges and everything. Once I'm done getting those 3 cans in and mixing that up with the egg yolks, we'll come back and add the lemon juice. All right, we've stirred up our egg yolks into the condensed milk. Now we're gonna add the lemon juice. I just pour a little bit at a time, stir it up, a little bit at a time, stir it as I'm adding it so that it thickens while it's pouring. That's part of what helps to make the pie itself thicken, along with the baking, which the oven is preheating at 325, and it's gonna bake for about 30 minutes. When we then add the meringue and cook it an additional 10 minutes for the meringue to brown. We stir the lemon juice around until it gets all mixed in. Again, like I said, I put a little bit of the pulp in there too to add to the bitterness, which complements the graham cracker crust and the meringue with the sweetness. Okay. All right, I'm showing you the texture of the cream to show that's what it should look like prior to putting it into your pie shells. But one thing that I also do to add another little bit of tanginess, I'll make and add a little lemon zest. So just scrape some of the skin, or the peeling rather, off of a lemon. You don't need a whole lot, just a little bit. I'd say this is gonna be 2 pies. So whatever you would think would be the equivalent of 1/4 of a teaspoon or 1/2 of a teaspoon of lemon zest. I just look at it as I put it in until I see that I have all that I want. And that looks like it's about it. I'm gonna stir that in and then pour it in my pie shells. Okay. We're using the Keebler graham cracker pie shells. I'm not into doing it from scratch because this is a time-saving factor for me, and it's just as good. We're gonna take and pour our mixture in. We're gonna stop once it gets to a certain point because we have to leave enough space for the meringue to be sealed on top of the filling. I don't like a pie with thin filling in it. It's just a wasted pie, basically. I like it where the people can taste everything, the custard as well as the meringue. And as you can see, that may be maybe about a good 1/4 of an inch away from the top of the pie shell itself. You don't have to worry about smoothing it around. I just have a bad habit of doing that. And what we're gonna do is place these in the oven, like I said, at 325 and after 30 minutes, we're going to put the meringue, and we'll come back when I'm about to do the meringue. Our custard has been in the oven for about 30 minutes. I'm going to mix the meringue to top it off to let it cook the remaining 10 minutes. This is 9 eggs. For every 4 eggs, you do about 1/4 of a teaspoon of cream of tartar. That adds to the stiffness for the egg yolk. So since we have 9 eggs, I'm gonna put a 1/2 teaspoon with a little bit over to make sure I get those peaks that I want. And I add that in before I even start mixing. Okay, as you can see, my eggs are whipping up perfectly at this point. This is the thickness you want to see before you start adding your sugar or anything. The sugar itself, again, is like a 1/2 cup for 4 eggs. So we add a little bit at a time. And you see how it's peaking up already without the sugar? The sugar is going to make it stiff. So I'm going to do a little bit. Stir that in. And I like to use glass instead of a metal pan because I think those metal pans might leave shavings in the thing. That's just my thing. But glass doesn't shed like that. We have that little bit of sugar mixed in. I'm going to add a little bit more. You're doing maybe about 2 or 3 tablespoons at a time. Once it gets to the thickness that I want, one of the things that I add to my meringue is a little vanilla. I don't tell everybody that, so y'all are getting an earful right now. One of the things that I look for with my meringue to let me know I'm almost where I want to be, when I take my things up and that stuff don't drop nowhere, you're going to have some meringue on that pie that's to die for. I got a little more sugar to add, then I'm going to put my vanilla in, then we'll put it on the pie and I'll show you how I seal it to keep it from dropping on me when it's in there. Okay, right now I'm going to go ahead and turn it off because it's at the thickness I want. All the sugar has been added. My little secret ingredient to make my meringue taste like a little ice cream. Now don't y'all tell nobody. I know this is going out to thousands of people, I hope. But don't you tell nobody other than the thousands that it's going out to. For this much egg white, I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. That's a 1/2. And another 1/2 with a little spilled over. And I'm a McCormick girl, as you can see. McCormick vanilla, McCormick cream of tartar is what my mama used, so it's what I use. Okay, as you can see, the custard is pretty much done. It might need a few more minutes. So what I'm going to do is we're going to add some of the meringue on one of them. And as you see, I have that edge that allows me the ability to seal it. I put some on there first. I smooth it out, take it to the edge, but not over the edge if I can help it. If a little bit goes over the edge, it's no big deal. But again, you want to seal it at the edge to make sure that it seals tight and doesn't seep any air up under it on you. I like for my meringue to look cloudy. I'm spreading it to the edge, to the edge. Ooh, got a little cake crumb on there, but that's no big deal. Sealing it. Add a little more. bringing it to the edge, and you sealing it right at the edge of the custard. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other one because I want to make sure I have enough, and then whatever I have left is what I'll use to make my peaks on top of my pie. Again, put a clunk out there, bring it around, seal your edges. Ooh, that's gonna be pretty. I don't know, I might sell these. Sister, you might not get them to keep for the house. Did I hear you clear your throat? Does that mean you don't agree with me? Now she's gonna keep them. And as you can see, when it stays thick like that, it gives you the ability to move it the way you need to move it. My mama sure taught me good.
Yes, she did.
So now we got this little extra. I'm gonna start making some pretty little peaks. I'm gonna show you what I do on some of them. Some of them I just take and I just do this to give it waves and curves, and then I'll bring it around and just make it all cute. On some of the other ones, I'll take and I just do that, and then once I spread it around, I'll just do this to give it little peaks on the top, and it cooks up so cute. But we're just gonna go ahead and do this so we can close it off and seal it off. Now we're not gonna cut these until they cool. I might not be here when they cool off for Nene to cut them, so y'all can see how thick and pretty that custard is on the inside. Okay, and there we have it. I hate to waste any of this meringue. That's why I keep going back and forth, you guys. Ain't that cute? Ain't that just so pretty? And the finished product, in about 10 minutes, you'll see all those pretty little peaks turn golden brown. Now, I'm not sure if I mentioned or not, but I increased the oven temperature to 375 for the meringue, and it may have been in there about 5 minutes. Oh my God. Look at that. Look at that. Woo, don't you want to just jump through that phone and just get a bite for yourself? So we're going to set these off, take them out of the oven. We're going to set them aside. Once they've cooled and she sets them in the fridge for a little bit and slice it, she's going to show you what it's supposed to look like on the inside, okay? Or should I say like Cardi B, okay?
Okay, guys, somebody went in the pie before it was time to cut. So I'm going to cut it again to make sure that we get this picture of the pie, this delicious pie, taken care of. Now, I wonder who did it. But look at that. Look at that. Ooh, let me get it. Let me get it. You gotta let it chill before you cut it. But boy, 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 look at that. Delicious.